Welcome back to Indiana Newsdesk. Earlier this week, Bloomington's City Council debated for 9 hours over an ordinance that would protect people experiencing homelessness who are sleeping in city parks. But as Ethan Burks reports, that measure didn't pass.
Ordinance 20-06 was a very polarizing issue for the council. It aimed to protect homeless encampments, like the one in Seminary Park this winter, from being removed if other shelter options aren't available for the people sleeping there.
An unhoused person has no place to go, literally no bed anywhere in this town where they can sleep, including in shelters, should they have a legal place to sleep.
That was the fundamental question that Flaherty and other supporters wanted to address. Their stated goal was to decriminalize sleeping in public spaces.
It's not my intention or anyone's intention that the city create tent camp in our city. That's not my interest. I have no interest whatsoever in that. What I am interested in is the decriminalization of sleeping.
But the council was gridlocked, with other members saying the legislation was flawed.
This has all been done without proper communication with or consideration of the employees of our city who are going to be tasked with the execution of this.
Sandberg says the proper research and vetting were not done in the areas of funding, staffing, and maintenance of an encampment in a city park.
It is undeveloped, it's ill-conceived, it's ambiguous. It codifies homeless encampments in parks where we've already seen one fatality.
The opposing council members agreed that something should be done to address homelessness, but they said this ordinance is not the answer, and the best thing to do is to move on from it and work on new solutions that will fix the problem.
I feel like we're just sweeping the problem under the rug again. This is a very urgent problem. This is not something that we can take another 10 years, 20 years to deal with.
Supporters of the measure worry that when the emergency winter shelters close for the spring, the community will be faced with the issue all over again, and tents will be back in city parks.
Ethan joins us from the newsroom to tell us how this whole thing played out. Ethan, you sat through that long 9-hour meeting on Wednesday. What's your biggest takeaway?
Well, simply put, this was the perfect example of a divided issue. You know, in the city council, you had 4 members on one side supporting it, and then 4 on the other side opposing it. Now, I know that sounds a little unusual to have an even number, but that's because Council President Jim Sims could not attend the meeting this week due to a family matter.
What factor did the uneven number of council members mean for adopting the ordinance?
Well, I think we all were taught growing up in local government classes that majority rules in democracy, and it's actually true in local government too. When it comes to voting, the side with the most votes, they win. And because in this instance it was 4-4 on both sides, the vote was split, so it could not pass.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the main disagreement the council had over the issue?
Well, the entire council and realistically the whole community agrees homelessness is a big problem in this city. It needs attention, there needs to be a solution, and that solution is very complex, but there are varying opinions on how to go about it. The people who supported this ordinance say there will always be some sort of homelessness in the city and people have nowhere to go. And for whatever those reasons are, those individuals can't go to a shelter or anywhere else, so they need somewhere to sleep. And why not have those people be together in the same area where they can receive the help that they need and not live in fear of being kicked out? Now, on the other side, you have people who think that's not the city's responsibility. They believe the ordinance wasn't fully thought out in terms of how much it would cost and how much it would be to maintain the homeless encampment 24 hours a day. Now, you also had local pushback from businesses and residents who didn't want encampments anywhere in town. And, you know, the solution to them would be to coordinate with the right organizations who are trained to deal with this problem.
So what's next now with the ordinance?
Well, right now there's no other kind of legislation coming from the city. If the council wanted to write up another ordinance, they would have to start from scratch and do it all over again, and that could take months.
All right, Ethan, thank you very much.
Thanks, Joe.